Let me start off with you, Chief Dr. Mani Rayanama. What do you make of this, the names that we have, or the ambassadorial list, the Korean ambassador and the non-Korean ambassadors? We have even Reno Mokuru make it to the list, and Yakub Mahmoud, who happens to be who was the former INEC chairman. As ADC and other Nigerians are reacting to what really transpired, recall that his tenure officially supposed to expire, last month, November, but he handed over, earlier than when it's supposed to be, and now we're seeing his name appear to be among the ambassadors.
For the career ambassadors, we have little or nothing to say because they must have grown through the ranks or whatever to earning the positions. But for the non-career ambassadors, of course, ordinarily speaking, it is the prerogative of the president to compensate persons he thinks will have aided him in one way or the other. However, what seems to smear the entire list for me is the seeming insensitivity in the appointment of the immediate past INEC chairman. There have been concern about how the election went through and accusations right, left, and center. Does this confirm a compensation for job well done in bringing him to power? That's the big question for me. We've also said the government had claimed that she's fighting corruption and whatever. We find certain persons' names who are said to be involved in one corrupt cases or the other. To what extent is that fight against corruption? I'd looked at that list as more or less purely political compensation.
All right. When you say it's purely a political compensation list, from what you're saying, let's also look at what some Nigerians are talking about. How many people made it to the list from each geopolitical zone? We have the Southeast having just 5. Some would say 6 of them with the Abia State woman. And then a particular geopolitical zone in Nigeria have over 12 persons made it to that list. The South were like 3 persons or thereabouts on the list. How balanced is it? There's a appointment and also nomination. How balanced is it?
State do not even have one. And from River State, we don't even have one. And some states have 3, 12, and the rest of it. But again, a balance in political appointments generally will be until we're able to sum up all appointments. So taking just one area of appointments to look at balance may not be completely correct.
Okay.
Except from the beginning in going. But you may find that good here and now. If you get to ministerial position, you will not find that same spread as it had been. If you go to other appointment, you will not have that spread. So I seem not to have much of a problem with that, except we have the complete figure to looking at all the appointments of the current presidency, and then be able to share it to see how to extend it balance.
All right, Dr. Iroyanama, let me stay with you. I want to quote what you said, word for word. You said it is the prerogative of the president to compensate those who helped him to office. That's what you said in your intervening statement. Now, Dr. Iroyanama, how morally upright is it for the president to use this prerogative by appointing people of questionable character? Like, I'm happy that you mentioned Yakub Mohammed. How morally right is it for the president? Does that prerogative confer the right on him to reward people who had, in one way or the other, failed Nigeria? I'm talking about some state governors who made that list, who had disappointed their people for 8 years. They couldn't deliver the dividends of democracy. Now we have the same people going to represent Nigeria abroad. I would like for you to talk about that prerogative once again. I'd like for us to expand it. Does that prerogative confer the president, the right to do what is not right for Nigeria?
So when I raise that as a concern, now you ask the question to what extent, to how moral it is. It is moral to the extent of what the president holds as moral. It's a pity we have a climate where people do not have respect to certain norms of living, as it were. So if you ask me, I'll simply say it shows the level of morality the president or the presidency holds. So that's my short answer to that question. It's a problem, and there's no. What that shows is that people could do anything, and as long as they're in the good book of whoever, they will get whatever they want to get in the country. That's what it shows.
Okay. All right, Doctor, one of the names that made that list is the name of Reno Omokri, former aide to President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. And he's been a strong supporter of this administration. But before he did that, he was also a strong critic of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He mounted a campaign in London and said, look, you're a drug lord. We are going to chase you out of London. You go back to Nigeria. You have questions to answer and all of that. And we see this man appointed, nominated as an ambassador. We don't know the country he is going to. We also have the Delta Democrats Forum calling for the withdrawal of Reno Omokri's ambassadorial nomination. If we have Nigerians kicking against an appointment, do you think that the president will listen? Because we hear that the president has listening ears. The other time Nigerians said, look, the list of pardoned people isn't very good. The president went back and said, okay, let's amend the list. Do you think that the president is about to do this? Because there is a lot of people have raised concerns about names that appeared on that list. Do you think the president will go back on that list and make amends?
I won't be able to sit here and speak directly to the president, but from antecedents, I can assure you one simple thing. He is not likely to listen if he had made up his mind. So wherever you think he had ever listened, it was because he actually did not want it. Because we have actually said more things, worse things. We have rejected worse things that he has refused to listen all the while. So a few times, well, it happens in government, they throw a juggler they know very well that will not be accepted, and to create a picture of listening, they throw it and you reject it, they say, okay, they've listened. That's not listening. That's listening. I can assure you, for Reno Omokri, for instance, we had expected something to happen since, even though not really ambassadorial. We expected that having turned the way he turned and being useful to him, as it were, something will get to him. So we are not surprised. For Ifani Kayode, I had also been expecting it long time ago that he will have had an appointment, given the way he has consistently told a line that seems not to be what he used to be.
Okay. All right, Dr. Iroyenema, as we...
Normally in our own climate.
All right, Doctor, you recall that when the prerogative of clemency, the list came out, and a lot of people say, look, looks like, in fact, the Police Service Commission and a lot of NDLEA say, look, this is not the list that we presented. Looks like some names were smuggled, into that list. Now, do you think that there's a possibility that a similar thing happened in this ambassadorial list? Do you think that the president didn't go through it before releasing it?
Categorically, I can tell you no. Because all the persons involved there have personal relations with him. I can tell you, we can't compare the two.
All right.
For a ministerial or ambassadorial list, it's usually not created from outside. It's slightly different from that of prerogative of mercy that usually comes from judiciary and certain other agencies. For a ministerial list, it is the president's prerogative. He does it, he sits down, he looks at it repeatedly. He knows them because he must know them. It's not the same thing with releasing criminals from prisons that he may never know from Adams. They are merely submitted somewhere, somehow.
All right. Thank you so much, Chief Dr. Manuel Iroyenema. Comrade Roy Oriabo, let's get you join the conversation. First, what do you make of the list? The career and non-career ambassadors that we have the list now. Recall Nigeria have been a country without ambassadors for some time, 2 years plus. And now the president have thought it wise to say, I'm sending the names of the people I want to be ambassadors to the National Assembly for them to vet. And after their vetting, then we'll have ambassadors. What do you have to say about the list, the names of the people on that list to start with?
To me, I was not surprised about the list because the president have the absolute rights, have the liberty to president have demonstrated now. Therefore, we don't need to be bothered about that. The president, as the president, after election, you look for people who work with you. Even when you have also an ambition for the next year, you also look for those you can also easily use, and that is what the president have demonstrated. All the personality. Them, to me, these are the persons he wants to use, and he's using them conveniently. I don't have any problem with that. The Nigeria must also know the issue of when you are discussing Nigeria politics, the issue of credibility, the issue of integrity, the issue of accountability. All these are always on their holidays. I don't want Nigeria to have the years. We should understand Nigeria more better now. When I see people trying talking about integrity, talking about transparency, these are strangers in our political discourse in Nigeria. Why are we deceiving ourselves? The personality you are seeing, there are personalities who have worked for Buhari, no career ambassador. These are personalities who have worked for.
We seem to be having network glitch.
And at the end of the day, it's going to be food for the. Hello? Are you with me?
Go ahead, I can hear you. Initially, we're having some glitches.
I said the issues are very direct. These are food for the boys, and they have demonstrated that. There is nothing any you and I can say. All we can do it.
Let me ask you one question. For one who waited 2 years to put out to list ambassadors, were you impressed? Are you impressed in any way? Comrade Roy. All right, we seem to be having a network problem with your connection, but if you can hear me, you may go ahead. Go ahead, please.
Yes. After 2 years, this is what the president is able to present to us. To me, I don't see anything wrong with that. The president is not left for individuals who are nominated to say, we will not take this or we will take. That is my own concern, especially to the former chairman of INEC. It's not left for him. If it is a job given to him for compensation, he will know this part of the world. We hardly say no, especially when we are eating.
Comrade Roy,
give it to us to come out.
Comrade Roy, I would like to ask you this question. What kind of political culture are we building for the future if we keep insisting that, look, this is the way we do it in Nigeria? Now you say that, look, integrity, transparency, whatever, have taken a backseat. Is that what we should be at the people? When will we start doing things right? What kind of political culture are we building? If you say you don't have a problem with the president appointing people of questionable character as ambassadors to represent Nigeria, when we are going through a lot as a people, as a country, what kind of political culture are we building for the future?
What do you mean by people with questionable? How do you establish that? Who are the persons who are with questionable character? How do you establish that? How do you establish that? That is the truth. The president has the right, absolute right to nominate those if you can work with him. If you are not too comfortable with some person, you can go to court. Initiate a move against it. Are you telling me now that if the National Assembly, are they going to do away now with Mahmoud? It's not possible. Are they going to do away with Omupi? It's not possible. Are they going to do away with it's not possible. Therefore, if this is not, I've told you before that Nigeria is an unusual place. Until we take that unusual of Nigeria into consideration before we start analyzing this thing. Until president and president, they have issue with Aerofa. That was why he was not cleared by the senators or by the Nigerian Senate. If he didn't have the issue, nothing will happen. We are here, we have been here making points, telling the Nigerian government to do what is right. But they have consistently refused to do what is right.
Comrade Roy Oriabo, when are we going to turn Nigeria? If we admit that Nigeria is an unusual place, what can we do to make Nigeria a usual place?
What we can do is what we are doing now. We must continue to let Nigerians know that we are not doing what is right. We are not doing what is right. We will continue to sing it. We will continue to. That's why we are here now telling Nigeria you are not supposed to do it. Our answer is that we continue to it. With those in leadership, will they listen to us? The answer is no. Mahmoud is one of the personalities who conducted one of the worst elections in the history of this world. After the election that was conducted by devil in hellfire. This is the election we have seen in this world. Therefore, if in his own conscience, in his own mind, and he said, I want to take this appointment, what can we do? He must have also, he puts his conscience, he must have jettisoned his principle over the years to say, let me take this. This is
Comrade, I'm happy that you brought us to this point. When I said people of unquestionable character, you asked me who determines who has a questionable character. And in the same breath, you are telling me that you are telling the world, you are telling Nigerians that, look, a man whose name appeared there, Yakub Mohammed Mahmoud, conducted one of the worst elections in Nigeria. Isn't his character questionable?
No, that is our thinking. That is our thinking. You remember this song popularly by Wiki as the street there? As they pay there, he go the street us. You remember that popular song by Wiki? That is how they view Nigeria. That is how they view Nigeria. I'm only telling you the truth, the fact that is available within all of us who are on the streets. But those in government, they see us as well. You know about the song. As they pay them, you go the street us. As they street us, you go the pay them. That is how they have reduced us in this country.
All right, comrade, before we move on to the next couple of conversation, I want to get your opinion on this. You know, you just talked about the president having the prerogative to pick whoever he want to pick to be an ambassador, especially the non-Korean ambassador. Now, we also know that host countries to these ambassadors have the right to reject them. And then with some of the things that you just pointed out to, how would that be, or what picture would that paint Nigeria to be if host countries start rejecting the persons that were cleared by National Assembly to be ambassadors in those countries?
But over the years, Nigeria and the National Assembly have not demonstrated that sincerity of purpose. We saw it very just a minister that passed through them, they vet the qualification. We were told that some of those qualifications were fraud. Therefore, back to your question directly, Nigeria will have about 109 missions across the globe. Therefore, Nigeria must also look for a country that also operates the same level with Nigeria, as at the level of characterless country without integrity. They can also look around and say, let's push this person to that place because it's just absolutely full for the boys. We can get it. They can get it. It's not the whole country that are on the same place with us. Nigeria must also look for a country that people like Mahmoud can go to. Look for a country like people like Omoki can go. A country like people like Kayode can go. And you also know there are countries who also accept them. Therefore, let us not label ourselves over that. Nigeria have a way of reaching out. They have the ability to reach out to those countries and say, we know of his character. You can manage it for us. And Nigeria can do that confidently.
We can manage it. All right, we can manage all of them. All right then. Well, thank you very much, Comrade Roy, for your take there. Interesting submission. Well, let's move away from this conversation. Let's look at SERAP as they sue Akpabio Abbas over missing funds, and we're talking 18.6 billion naira NASC complex funds. Let's talk about this when we come back.
The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has filed a lawsuit against Senate President Godswill Akpabio and House of Representatives Speaker Tajudeen Abbas over the alleged misappropriation of 18.6 billion naira meant for the construction of the National Assembly Service Commission office complex. Well, SERAP is seeking a court order to direct Akpabio, Abbas, and the NASC to account for the missing funds, disclose the name of the construction company involved, and provide details of the contract. Well, the group argues that the allegations reflect a grave violation of public trust and the Nigerian Constitution. The lawsuit follows a 2022 audit report by the Auditor General of the Federation, which revealed that the NASC paid over 11.6 billion naira to an unknown construction company for the project without proper documentation or approval. We still have with us Comrade Roy Uriabo, who joined us from virtually from Benin City, and Dr. Emmanuel Iroyenema, who joined us from Port Harcourt. Gentlemen, thanks for staying with us. Now, let's get into it. Comrade Roy, we are back again looking for 18.6 billion naira meant for the construction of the National Assembly Service Commission complex, and we can't find it. Now, SERAP wants to go to court. Is that what it should be? Why are we always looking for money in this country? I want you to react to the 18.6 billion naira that we are looking for. Something that is, and by the way, how come we are National Assembly Service Commission, people that work there, for how long have they been without a complex? Because I recall that that complex was, the commission was created sometime between 2000 and 2004. That is when it was created. Where have they been using, and we decide to build a complex for them? Can't find the money. What's your reaction to all of that?
But on a very serious note, it's quite very unfortunate that all the time we keep on looking for money here and there, as if we are not a serious nation. It now takes an NGO to draw the attention of the world and Nigerians to say, this is the money we are looking for. Where is EFCC? Where is ICPC? These are some of the issues that make me at times, when I look at Nigeria, my heart will be failing me, because I'm not seeing really a future in this country. Very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. And I'm saying it. And I'm saying it with all emphasis. I'm not seeing future in this country. How do you talk to people? What are you telling us? That also money is missing that was budgeted for a purpose is missing. It that takes an NGO to approach a court. And you also agree with me, the court that is even the NGO is also going, they might not be able to even get judgment, because some judges in Nigeria now have been declared judges of particular concern, who keep on romancing with some powerful personalities. These are some of the issues. I salute SERAP, who have always been there for us. They are the only organization now who have been there very consistent.
Comrade, do you think that the EFCC, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, and the ICPC, do you think that they are overwhelmed, with the number of criminal cases that they have? That's why they can't follow everything through. Do you think they are overwhelmed?
They are not overwhelmed. They have special interests on issues. Any matters they have special interests, considering the body language of the president and presidency, they go for it. That is why they are not overwhelmed. What kind of job are they doing that they are overwhelmed?
No, I asked that question. I'm sorry. I asked that question in the light of the fact that we have more than 10,000 corruption cases being handled by the same agency, and I'm not sure that EFCC has more than 2,000 staff. How can they cope? Do you think that we should create special courts or another agency to probably track corruption from the National Assembly, track corruption from judiciary, track corruption from the legislature? Should we get into that track? Because it looks like that EFCC also handles private sector investigations. Don't you think they are overwhelmed?
They are never overwhelmed. Let us not go into that. Let us not give the excuse to say that they are overwhelmed. They are not overwhelmed. It is where they have interest. When they have interest in matter, they quickly go for it. When they don't have interest, have you listened to the head of EFCC telling Nigeria government that they need more manpower? Have you heard that from them? If it is an issue of manpower, they will be discussing that. They are not talking in that direction. Therefore, they are not overwhelmed. It is the area they have issues they choose to want to say this is our issue of interest. Once they have it, they go for it. There are some issues they just say, well, these are not our issue, especially when you are in the good books of authority. They just look at it, okay, especially now the National Assembly as of today, what do we call them? What kind of name have we given to them as in Nigeria? We call them, they are mere rubber stamp. Therefore, they are on the same page with the president and presidency. Okay. That's understandable. Why are you saying that?
All right. Thank you very much, Comrade Roy.
We don't need more institutions. I'm even one of those who even believe that the EFCC should be merged with the police, ICPC, all of them need to be merged under one unity front. Not for we to continue to duplicate offices and positions. We don't need EFCC what they are doing, they have to improve on it.
All
Not
right.
to, for them to
All right. Thank you
very
very much, Comrade Roy. Talking about merging the EFCC with the police, a lot of Nigerians already have problem with the police itself. And mind you, the preponderance of staff of the EFCC come from the Nigeria police too. Now, let's bring in Dr. Iroyenema into this conversation. Dr. Iroyenema, we are looking for a certain 18.6 billion naira meant for the construction of National Assembly Service Complex. We are also tracking $490 million. And former Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, is come under the radar. Police EFCC has said, look, you can't travel now. Comrade, Doctor, why are we always looking for money in this country? And we can't find any. We keep going from one, looking for one to the other, and we can't find any. What is the problem? What do you think the problem is? Can you help us unravel, untie that knot? Because it's an existential threat and problem to us as a people. We're always looking for money. What's the problem?
Because we are corrupt. We're always looking for money because we have corrupt leadership. We have always looking for money because our legislators are corrupt. We are always looking for money because we have a judiciary that is corrupt. We have always looking for money because governance in our country strives on corruption. That's the basic reason why we are where we are. Okoro, did you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Doctor.
Yes. So that's the reason why we're where we are. Now, I pity SERAP. It is one thing to expose these things. It's another thing to be able to get justice, as it were. The court SERAP is going to, which court is it going to? What are the centers of corruption in the country today? Is the judiciary. All recent judgment, particularly when it gets to politically exposed persons, we know where it will go. Even before it gets to the judiciary. So what are we getting out of it? We are certainly not going to get any real results. It's just the information. And we thank them for giving us the information.
Okay, so what is the value of that information? Because we are from NNPC. In the past 10 years, we are trying to track 210 trillion naira. So what is the value of the information if we can't get the money? We are talking about a Bachalud, we are talking about 210 trillion naira, 18.6 billion naira here, Kogi 80-something billion naira, in almost all the states. In Kaduna State, they are looking for a certain billion naira and all of. In Kano State, the same thing. Every time we are looking for. What is the value of the information if the EFCC cannot get to a conclusion in all of this? And I ask you, let me ask you the same question I asked Roy. Do you think that the EFCC, ICPC, do you think they are overwhelmed? Because there are multiple corruption cases. Every day we see a new one. Every day we see a new one. Is it because of the number that they can't get to a conclusion? Because we don't hear that, look, this money has been recovered. It's only paltry that we hear. And when EFCC recovers 2 billion naira, they go to the world, the internet, to say, look, we have recovered all of this. Do you think they're overwhelmed?
They are not overwhelmed. The EFCC and ICPC as it is today is an arm of government aimed at targeting opposing views or opposing persons that are politically exposed and minor thieves like the Yahoo boys and so on and so forth. That's what the EFCC and ICPC are for as of today in Nigeria. And there's no, that is something that is known everywhere. So they cannot pretend that they do not know even these issues that are being raised today by the NGO, as it were, SERAP.
Now, Chamber of Emmanuel, why should you wait for SERAP to be the one that will take the National Assembly to court, the leaders of National Assembly to court, when we know that this information, the people that found out about the missing 18.6 billion naira, happen to be the Auditor General Office? So why should we wait for SERAP to take them to court? Why wouldn't they do the needful? And how possible is it that 11.6 billion naira was used without any, bill of quality or quantity and any other thing being carried out? Why? How possible is it?
So running a government of corruption, nothing of that money could have moved out without civil service involvement in the first instance. So let's be honest. If it ever, no government money comes out without the connivance of the civil servant. So first and foremost, you asked the initial question. I said, this is possible because we are corrupt as people. This is possible because we run a corrupt government. So you can't be a thief-free industry and ask how something is stolen. Robbers can't go out to steal and then come back and begin to ask themselves, how did we steal? Because that's the occupation. So both the office of the Director General, the office of the Finance Ministry, down to the National Assembly are all involved. There's a chain. And that's why I fear, and I am sure most Nigerians also fear, if anything good will come out of it. Knowing that the other agencies that will have been able to do anything are themselves also corrupt, including the judiciary, which I have the biggest fear. So we'll keep hearing it. And like I said before, for your information as it is actually a no action designate. When memos are sent to you and they say it's for your information, somebody says don't take action, just keep it, know it. And so what Nigerians have been told is just know it, that it happened. I do not see any action that will be taken. I do not see any action that will be taken.
All right then. So you lost confidence there. Well, anyway, we must say a very big thank you to you, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Oroyanama, socio-political commentator, advocate of good governance, a seasoned and licensed human resource practitioner, management consultant, and chartered mediator and conciliator. Thank you very much for your contribution on the program. And also big thanks to Comrade Roy Oriabo, a public affairs commentator, human rights activist, member, Coalition of Civil Society Organizations, advocate of Nigeria. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your contribution on the program.
Thank you.
Well, that's it on VOP this morning. I am Moses Humphrey. Join us again at 10 for Newspaper Review.
And I'm Fina Okechukwu. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy New Month once again.
I'm Chukuma. I'll see you again at 10 o'clock. Bye for now.